Hey guys, so I'm just waking up and reviewing these patch notes that I just got DM'd on Discord that came out. And to be honest, for a lot of these, I'm happy. For a lot of these, I don't feel like will change anything at all. And for a lot of these, I don't like. So I'm going to go over some of the ones that I don't like. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to show you all a Google Doc I made of changes that I would have made to the game in this patch. So let's get into this. So, these universal changes, I like all of these, to be honest. I don't really care about this one way or the other. Guard cancel change, I mean, that's good. That it can't be a bad thing to make this more consistent. And ultimate Z change, they got rid of the bug where certain characters could DHC for free. So I mean, that's fine. I see no reason to complain about these. A lot of these changes for SSJ Goku just seem like they will do absolutely nothing. I don't really see why these are necessary. I know for this, they wanted to make it seem like this is like Trunks' 2 through 6M. They want it to be plus or something, but I'm not really a fan. Flurry Kick, I would have changed in a different way, but we'll talk about that later. And the other changes, I feel like this is just not going to do anything, or not anything significant. So, sorry about that. They basically made Vegeta super safe on block and like really, and like they kind of improved his neutral. Pretty good changes, decent changes. I would have did something to his assists and made them a little better. So for example, a thing I wanted for SSJ Vegeta, instead of his B assist being 236L, I would have made it 236M. That way, it's just wow, he has a support niche on every team. Piccolo, they kind of buffed him, but also did absolutely nothing. I like this is not going to really do anything for Piccolo, and I actually would have buffed him harder than this. And it's not to say Piccolo's not a great character, but like there are some things I would have done in the game where you'll see. They did some Teen Gohan buffs, and I actually agree with this. I was gonna write this. The slide has a little more range. I didn't want standing heavy attack to have more range, but they did that. They made this have less startup, whatever. This is the DP, I guess. Yeah, I actually would have did this too. And yeah, this is whatever. So, whatever. Basically, a lot of these change. Let's talk about the big ones, right? Okay. So, Android 18 is going to be really good because the standing medium. This is going to be a great button now. She's going to actually have footsies. Destructo Disc being faster is crazy because that shit is a beam. I mean, she already has great Ki Blast. She has 17 in neutral. She has a barrier. I mean, this is going to be crazy. This does mad chip damage too. And this is kind of just better for combos, whatever. But Android 18 is going to be crazy because when you... This specific buff right here. Because when you buff her footsies, and I guess also this one too. Both of these, let's highlight. When you buff those attacks, her neutral is gonna go from pretty fucking good to like to just that slight little edge better in this meta of like bigger buttons, and now she's gonna do chip damage when you block her shit. Like, it's crazy. Gotenks also seems like, you know, he's gonna be pretty fucking good. SD after beam sounds like it'd be good for corner combos. This is the EX. I mean, this is oh, they nerfed his like special tax energy, whatever. And increased recovery. Wow. Increased recovery. That's horrible. Okay, they nerfed Gotenks. Let's see, other important characters. Yamcha, they did something very important. They let him cancel his 2H into J2H, which makes it safe on block. That's huge. They gave him a 4L. That's huge. I really wish they buffed his EX Flash a little bit, but they just made his Rekkas a lot better. So, I mean, you can't really complain. It's pretty decent buffs, to be honest. I really wish they made one of his moves gain more meter, but that's going to be talked about in here. Let's talk about the top tiers. I want to talk about Vegito. This is a perfect Vegito nerf, okay? I don't know why they made 2S faster. That's cool. Didn't need to be done, but that's cool. But increasing the recovery of stand medium, I actually really liked the buff for 5M's range because it gave him the backdash medium mix-up, and that mix-up is really important because the only character that could really do that before Vegito had that type of button or SSJ4 had that type of button was Bardock, and giving more characters access to that when they don't have 50/50s is a really, really good thing. I think that's important to the narrative of the game. They made his Ki Blast faster. I don't really think that'll do too much, and they nerfed the damage scaling on this. So basically just anything that they needed to do, they did to Vegito. I really like these changes. I want Vegito to be strong. I don't want him to be broken. Let's talk about SSJ4 for a second. SSJ4, they fucking actually, Blue Gogeta's first. So they buffed Blue Gogeta, and they buffed him not really too much, but they buffed him, period, and I wouldn't have done that. I really don't know why they would give him this. This is just if a character's already dead, he can use his level 2 after a DHC, and that's cool and all, but it didn't need to happen. He's already a strong character. I would have nerfed him a little bit. Now, SSJ4, they really buffed SSJ4 actually. So they made his 2H even safer, and they sped up the grounded medium lariat. So unless this is the plus frame move, but this is like, that'd be even worse almost basically. But if they sped up one of his already good special moves is the point. I don't see why they needed to buff him. When they nerfed Vegito's scaling, when they nerfed Labcoat's scaling, they didn't nerf his fucking damage scaling. So I don't know why they buffed him even more. He's already crazy. I feel like this is going to be the new top 1 character, guys. There's no fucking way he's not. I mean, he already has crazy stagger pressure. I wanted to nerf the shit out of this character. But that's cool. And Labcoat, I kind of like these changes, but I would have went about it in a more complex way. I like that they nerfed the recovery on her ground super. I like that she can't combo into debuff anymore, and I like that they decreased the damage scaling, or increased the damage scaling on her moves, so she doesn't get so much crazy damage. But I would have went about it a different way, so let's talk about the nerfs and buffs I would have done to DBFZ. Now, I could probably just copy and paste these little system changes from up here, because these aren't that bad at all. I kind of liked the bug where you could DHC and save a meter. I kind of liked that. I feel like it would have been a cool feature just to have on certain characters, but I see why they took it off. Guard cancel, there's nothing to complain about here, and this is like whatever. I feel like this is not going to matter too much. But anyway, so raw tag into reflect into raw tag has been a really important mix-up ever since this game came out, and I want to make that mix-up a little bit worse. I don't want to nerf the actual mix-up, but if an opponent expects it but doesn't have time to anti-air, I want to make it so that if it doesn't hit the opponent, it has landing recovery. And the very simple notion behind this is other moves that have very low commitment but very high screen control have landing recovery, right? So lots of special moves, lots of good Ki Blasts have a lot of landing recovery. Just make people punishable if they do this, because it's really unpunishable. A 0 on block super dash being your raw tag that's also faster than a regular super dash most of the time is kind of fun. Next one, super dash cannot clash with normals except for other super dashes, only win or lose. This is designed, if you air to air a super dash, there should be no way that shit clashes. It either beats you because you're out of range or loses because it's in range. I feel like that's fucking stupid. Sparking blast, held vanish no longer freezes the screen, as you can see in the parentheses. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Held vanish no longer freezes the screen. The start of it will still freeze the screen, but if you get that held vanish out, I don't want you to have as much plus frames or even plus frames at all. I want you to be a little bit minus when you're doing the Sparking Blast held vanish, and this is supposed to be a nerf to sparking offense, and also when people do stuff like spark and then held vanish to get out of pressure, oftentimes when you react with a tech option, you will just get a no tech, and it says blue combo, but it's actually untechable from that situation. So rather than just predicting with a tech option, I want you to be able to react with your tech option to them doing held vanish. So yeah. Special tag has decreased landing recovery by 7 frames, and the idea here is I think it's a little bit too much. I think it's a little bit too punishable for certain characters, and making it only 7 would kind of help that a little bit, but also keep the recovery. You can no longer vanish away from DP supers freely. This is pretty self-explanatory. I don't know why level 1 supers that have frame 1 invuln can just be vanished out at point blank. That's fucking stupid. Chip damage increased across the board. And so the idea is I want to make matches faster. So, as we already saw with Lab Coat and the debuff, matches in Dragon Ball, and they've been like this for 4 years, they're really fucking slow. Dragon Ball is almost never on schedule in tournaments. And I don't really play tournaments that often. I'm going to be going to Heat Wave. I played in Bum's Birthday Bash. That's about it. I don't really go to locals that often. But I do know that as a player, I play with people, and then very, very often, like way too often, the game comes down to timer. And I feel like that is just not the way a fighting game should be. There should be a little bit more opportunity to steamroll, a little bit more opportunity to keep your pressure. And I feel like it's just kind of a cool mix-up. If you, like, for example, the Ki Blast Super Dash mix-up, if Ki Blast did a lot of chip damage, but they don't, but if a lot of Ki Blasts did a lot of chip damage, there'd be more of a reason to Super Dash them instead of just stay there, reflect them, gain meter. If they did a little bit of chip damage each, I feel like that'd be good for, like, pressure. Anyway, so Lab Coat, this is a really, really huge list of nerfs. This is designed to be a complete rework of the character. So, a lot of people are familiar with Gohan's level ups. I want it to be kind of like that, but basically, the stomps, OTGs, hit stun or decay greatly reduced, not reduced, but increased. I want it to be harder to combo with this move. Not on the smash hit, but just on the non-smash, so you can't get assist extensions as easily. No longer hits low, but are now -4 and -2 respectively. This is to compensate. I'll give her good pressure with these moves, but they're a mid. I don't want her to have 6 lows. I think 6 lows is way too much. 214X Ki Blast Invuln now frame 4 across all versions. This is actually a nerf. Most of them, EX at least, are frame 1. I don't want it to be frame 1. It gives her a worse matchup against Beerus and Piccolo and people that use stuff like that on their Oki. 236X and 214X hitbox is reduced. They have no more hitting behind you hitbox. That shit is bullshit. No longer cancel landing recovery, which is designed to be like you can't just use this after 2H and get crazy pressure. 236X scaling reduced. This is designed to nerf the scaling on her lariat. Chip damage reduced. Both of these moves do really good chip damage. I want them both to not have great chip damage, but you'll see down here Debuff Mechanics. Ki Blast Invuln now starts on frame 10. This is designed to make it a little worse than neutral. Startup increased, makes it a little bit slower, all versions. JS recovery and landing recovery increase. That JS is a fucking problem. It's like Baby's Ki Blast, but not sucks. 236S, now 20 frame startup minimum, so at point blank 20 frame startup, and has more recovery on block. And this is designed because that 14 frame beam is stupid. I don't know why she has the only 14 frame beam in the game, and it's also like better on block than every other beam. It's stupid. 5L now -3, down from -4, and this is the only buff I did to her buttons. Every other thing is a nerf. 5LL now -6 and has more recovery on whiff. This makes it a less bullshit move in scrambles. 2M now -8, 5M now -5, 5S now -7 at point blank. This makes it tied with Majin Buu's. 214S has 3 less active frames, recovers 4% HP but only in blue health, carries momentum, has 3 frames of landing recovery, cannot be used more than once in the air. So this is all a big movement nerf. That shit is really crazy for air stalling. It's very hard to punish because it has so many active frames. You'd be trying to super dash to punish it, and it just wouldn't punish. So, yeah. JH now 13 frames, and I think this is very important because it indirectly buffs her air dashes, and it's like just a great move, so making it a little bit slower, she's a little bit easier to react to her pressure. J2H now travels slightly further, but has 3 frames of landing recovery. This is kind of a burf. The only reason I did this is because I kind of wanted her to have some air stalling left, but I also didn't want to, I didn't want it to be completely unpunishable. 22S now frame 5 invuln instead of frame 4, and the reason I did this is to create a mix-up where she can't just use it after vanish, she can only use it in a 0 on block or -1 situation, like after 6Ms. So this makes her barrier a little bit less oppressive. 214LM, this is the supers, and so these are level 3s. Both have reduced super damage when scaled, but higher frame advantage, so compensate. I don't want her to do very high damage as a character, or at least not as high. So to compensate, she has a little bit better Oki. 236HS debuff super now has 0 invuln frames, can only debuff 1 character per round, recovers 10% blue life. If 1 character is dead, using alternate assist button will allow you to DHC into the debuff super. So you can only absorb 1 character's strength 21% permanently per round. And that's important. You could still use the super, but then it just becomes a worse super to use. Okay, cool. You get a safe jump after. There's a lot of level 1s you can get a safe jump after. But then that's it. You don't nerf the DHC synergy. Like in this patch notes, they made it so you basically just can't combo into it. I don't want that. It kind of nerfs certain synergy, like Majin 21 getting her level 3 off of that. Like, that's pretty cool. But I also don't want you to just debuff every single character in the fucking game. So this just makes it a little bit kind of cooler. Now Debuff Mechanics. This is just a complete rework. All special moves and supers will receive the 21% damage buff, including the assist. All special moves will deal higher chip damage. All meterless special moves will build more meter. 2-2S barrier can now be cancelled into itself and gains more meter when blocking attacks. The debuff super, when already absorbed a character, will recover 10% health regardless of blue or black, and on anchor lab coat can hold H or S to spend additional meters to deal more damage, recover more HP. Now you might be wondering, why did you make this character so broken? I don't actually care if she's the best character in the game. She could be really, really good anyway. I nerfed the shit out of her buttons, bro. I nerfed the shit out of her buttons. I nerfed the shit out of her special moves. I nerfed the shit out of, like, everything. Except I made her reliant on the debuff to get a level up to be broken. That's all I did, bro. I made her spend a meter to have a permanent install. Like, that's kind of crazy. But that's because they want Android 21 to be the poster girl of this game. They want her to be the best character. And I want her to. But I also want her to be fucking interesting, because when that character came out and I labbed her, I go, damn, this character has no weaknesses and is not interesting and has no archetype. So I just want her to have more fair special moves, period, and then I want her to actually use the fucking self-buff, because nobody used that shit to buff themselves. She was already strong by herself. They just used it to nerf other characters, and I thought that's fucking stupid. So, yeah. Vegito, literally all the buffs, all the nerfs that they did in this patch notes I have, and except for, I guess, this doesn't really need to happen, but A assist now has a landing animation, slightly less hit stun, and slightly slower startup. This is designed to make the assist a little bit worse as a basically pseudo DP assist, and less broken in neutral and less broken period. You could happy birthday it a little easier. You could get out of the pressure a little bit easier. Just little bit of a nerf to the ASS. I still want it to be strong. I don't want it to be broken. So, SJ4 Gogeta. This is one of my favorite nerfs that I would ever do to any character ever. Listen, 5LLL now counts as a special move. Can't be cancelled into other special moves or into Vanish on Whip. This makes mashing his auto combo a commitment. This is so fucking cool. This is so cool because I still want his auto combo to be fucking broken. I still want it to be a scramble winner, and it already has like barely any recovery at all. You just can't mash auto combo and then do counter like a dumbass. 5M cancel window reduced to make his staggers less oppressive. You know how Trunks has a really shitty cancel window on his 5M, and you could barely ever cancel it into 2M? So yeah, reduce that to make his staggers less broken. 2 through 6X lariats, scaling increased. I don't want him to be able to kill you off of that shit. I don't want him to be able to 2-touch you off of that shit. It's a really, really good move. And 4 frames more recovery makes it easier to punish in neutral. JS 5S range slightly decreased. I don't want it to be really crazy, like nerfing his combos or his anything like that. I just want it to, like, not track jumps from the ground as good. Thank you. 6S recovery cannot be canceled. This is because when you do 6S for the taunt and you just mash after, it's really, really hard to actually punish him for just being minus. It's really stupid. Yeah. 2M4X series no longer track vertically. This is designed to make it less broken. Like, if you do an air backdash, you should be able to avoid this move. Hitbox reduced vertically. Easier to avoid in air. JH now 14 frame startup, and the hitbox reduced. This is designed to nerf his air dash pressure because he already has 2 air dashes. He doesn't deserve to have the best air dashes. So what do I mean by that, right? I also nerfed Labcoat's JH. When you have a JH that hits really low vertically and really far horizontally at the same time, not only can you get cross-up JHs, which are really bullshit, even though that's like, you know, a lot of characters can get that for pressure. The idea is if you air dash in neutral, because you have a way to hit a location that other characters don't have, all of a sudden you are now like way, way harder to hit in neutral because your air dashes automatically have like a hitbox threat attached to it. Like, other characters don't have JHs like that. Goku Black has a really good JH, but Goku Black doesn't have 2 air dashes, right? Stuff like that. Z Broly. I nerfed him a little bit. I also buffed him a tiny bit. Can't refresh 2M4S anymore. No longer beats physical assists. I always thought that was a stupid change for specifically Broly's barrier. Every other character could have it. It's just specifically Broly's barrier. It's really hard to beat now. 5L, 2L, 5LL, now -4 instead of -2. And 2M, now -8. I feel like this is just better for his archetype. I mean, I feel like no Broly player is going to complain about still having safe jabs. 2 through 6S deals increased chip damage. This is because I want chip damage increased across the board. Don't worry, it's not just Broly. And A assist block stun reverted to 22 frames, or I think it was 21 frames, but I want it to be reverted. I don't want it to have 30 frame block stun. I thought giving Beam Likes 30 frame block stun was stupid. So now last nerf, Gogeta Blue, I wanted to give 2M 7 frames more recovery on whiff, make it easier to punish. The DPs, when you do special tag, I want it to have a chance, like if your combo is way too long, the last hit can drop out of the combo because it takes too long, and this will nerf the special tag synergy, or at least make the combos harder. And EX Soul Strikes will deal higher chip damage. Chip damage increase across the board. Whatever. And I guess I am fine with him having level 2 after character dies, but it's real, like, that's kind of, I guess, I did that for a lot of characters. Or I did that for SSJ Goku and maybe one more. So, I mean, it's not going to break the game or anything. And I feel like nerfing that 2M is definitely a good change. It's way too unpunishable. It's a normal that you could vanish, cancel, and call assist on. It's crazy. So, character buffs. This is not really a buff. This is, like, it was a buff and a nerf. I reverted the block stun on A assist. I buffed her B assist so that people use the B assist more. And this does a little more chip damage. The ball that's not the steals, because the steals already do crazy chip damage. But yeah, this is just kind of system changes, I guess. SSJ Goku. Now this is actually kind of a complete rework to SSJ Goku. Not really a complete rework, but I really want to make him a lot more interesting. So his beam recovery a little decreased, chip damage a little blah 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 blah. 2 through 6L -3 on block. 2 through 6X, which is the both of the fists, or all the fists, can be aimed slightly by holding up or down. 2 through, this is kind of like how 18 could do that with her Destructo Disc. 2 through 6X, the fists, can be feinted by holding the attack button. This is to make his pressure a little scarier. If you react to it, he can bait your reflect, so you're encouraged to just block it. 2 through 6H, frame 5 invuln. Invuln lasts until hitbox is active, and the ground version can no longer be 2H'd. So the idea here is make this better as a whiff punish tool, make this better as an invuln tool. And I thought frame 5 is a really specific number because it doesn't give him a frame 4 invuln. It doesn't make him lose beat vanish situations against characters with frame 6 jabs, but it does give him a better matchup against characters like Vegito or other frame 7 characters like Broly. And it also is better in the 6M situation, as I mentioned before. So, yeah. 214X, the kicks, reworked. Multiple hits must be chained together by multiple attack button presses. So I made it a Rekka, and this is designed to make it better in pressure. So, like, you could do 214HMLLL and then get mix. You could do 214MLLL and then kind of have, like, just a bunch of stagger shits. Like, and this is just kind of a useless string, but it's possible now. And when one character is dead, you do SSJQ's Air Super, lets him do a level 2. So, if you want a level 2, you could do that. Now, SJ Vegeta. 2 through 6H, the EX rocket kick, 15 frames. 15 frames less recovery. I think it's negative 20 on block on the ground. That's fucking horrible. That's crazy talk. That's crazy. It's not even as good as Yamcha's special move. And Yamcha's is like... Yamcha's is better on block. That's crazy. I already mentioned B assist being 2 through 6M instead of 2 through 6L. It just gives him better support. 2 through 6S can now be cancelled early by pressing S again. Bait reflects, combo utility, and is 0 on block at point blank. And this is designed to give him way better chip damage pressure. I don't want his normals to be good. Like, they buffed his normals in this. I feel like that's kind of not necessary. But if you give him the chip damage mind game, all of a sudden... being low damage and having shit normals for pressure doesn't matter because you can pressure with your ki blasts. Encourages people to, like, just take the chip damage, and then that's kind of broken. So, yeah. Adult Gohan. They actually did this change in the buffs. They made the 5L have more distance. Removed landing recovery from JS. This move is not good enough to warrant having 7 frames of landing recovery. 2 through 6S chip damage increased. The beam, this system change. The kicks chip damage increased. 2 through 6H is +3 again when Gohan gets to level 5. His level 1 is now frame 7 invul, and frame 7 is a very specific number. I want frame 7 because against 6M, against a 7-frame jab character, you can use this to get out. This is super specific. It's not going to matter against most characters, but it gives him something in certain matchups that he struggles in. Level ups each increase chip damage on special moves by 10% more, and level 6 gives him access to a second 5L during his block strings. So this is, like, pretty fucking good changes, I would say, for Adult Gohan. He doesn't really need combo buffs. His pressure's already pretty good. In the buffs, they made his 2L 7-frame startup, and, like, I don't exactly disagree, but he doesn't need it anyway. Like, I feel like this is not going to change nearly as much as this stuff. But, yeah. So, oh wait, and one more thing. I want level up charge, level up meter dump on DHC. I want him to be able to just dump all of his meters on DHC as well. There's no reason he only gets 1 level. You should just be able to dump all your meter. Goku Black. 5LL startup reverted to 11 frames, and this is actually a buff. His anti-reflect is not auto-timed anymore, and I feel like having the slower button is better for stagger rhythm anyway. It's not like that thing being 9 frames is helping his clash routes. I mean, he already has a 9-frame 5M. Having this be 11 frames, come on, bro. It's not going to be that bad. All 214X teleports now 3 frames faster. This is designed to make his level 3 Oki more consistent. 2 through 6SX, this is the God Slicers, and the beam have increased chip damage. And the God Slicers have increased projectile priority so they don't lose to other Ki Blast as much. 214S, the command grab, is now 2 frames faster, gives SKD on hit, makes the reward better when he's solo. And 2 through 6 LM, all the hits still come out when it's non-cinematic. So you know how Z Broly does his cinematic super and you DHC early and he could still, like, combo the super? It's not like you only get those... It's not like Goku Black where you only get those little weak hits and then it doesn't do the explosion. I want him to still get the explosion, so it makes his DHC a lot better. So much better. Gotenks 2 through 6S and 214S slightly higher chip damage. That's it. That's all he needs. I know the patches, like, nerfed him a little bit, or they gave him the shout cancel. They gave him the super dash after the beam, and they nerfed this. I feel like this doesn't need to get nerfed. It's not even coming into play that much. Sped up the attack startup. I mean, Like, he doesn't even need it. But, whatever. It's not going to change that much about Gotenks. So, do that. Now, Yamcha, I did this whole crazy list. And they did one of these. They did, the 2H can be canceled into J2H. But, that's cool. 2 through 6L, 2 through 6M, I want all the hits to scale like one jab. There's no reason that each hit individually should scale the combo. That's so fucking stupid and crazy. And I want this to scale the exact same as this. So, I mean, guys, this would just buff Yamcha's damage, and it wouldn't even make him 2-touch consistently. This is just fucking fair. Cross-up Wolfang after that is now 20 frames instead of 23. I actually don't like this. I would change that. I would keep it 23 frames. 23 frames is pretty fucking fast. 2 through 6M cross-up, however, now 24, 26 frames respectively. So, like, the cross-up 2 through 6M into EX, 24 frames, without the EX, 26 frames. And you could even be a little bit of an asshole, make it 27. It doesn't need to be that fast. But, yeah. 5L now 6 frames. I don't want to give him a 4L because previously they gave characters that's jabs advance forward no 4L. And I want to keep that tradition. I don't know why they fucking gave him a 4L. It makes his pressure way too good. But, yeah. 5H, now 28 frame startup. And this is to sort of go with the 2 through 6M. Now it feels like a same side option. It makes it a little harder to reflect. Wolfang Flash whiff recovery reduced by 10 frames. Self-explanatory. 2 through 6L and 2 through 6M recovery reduced. Now it's -3 on block. 2L moves slightly forward. This makes his pressure a little better. It's 0 on block, I get it, but then he only has a 7 frame jab afterward. And I already changed that, but I feel like this wouldn't nerf his pressure at all. It would make it so that he has sort of like a move that's it just buffs his pressure, bro. Wolfang Fist Rekka hits do slightly more chip damage, like very slightly. It already does pretty good chip damage by this game standard. The beam does a little more chip damage. Super damage just slightly buffed. I feel like only 50 more damage is enough. The Tornado Claw builds more meter. I think this is very important because he already uses a lot of meter. So if he can build slightly more meter on his own, that would be really, really huge for him, especially if they built a huge amount of meter in Spark. If you could save Spark for Yamcha and then he's actually viable, like that's really good. 2M4H has a ground bounce knockdown, buffs his combos a little bit. 2H, no, I already talked about that. And level 1 does slightly higher chip damage. So, I mean, this is kind of just a system change. But yeah, I think these would be really, really good. Specifically this and making this faster would go a long way. A lot of these don't even need to happen, but I would just do this because it would just make sense. The way the power scaling of the game has went. So, Frieza... I'm going to skip. Just go to Frieza. Frieza, I want to make his assist legitimately good. So, like, A assist is now going to be a defensive call, and this makes it usable with 6M mid-screen, and also really broken. I want it to be broken. He's not even that good on point. Stop crying. It's just make Frieza good, bro. He used to be good in the beta, and now he's not. 5M now 8 frames like Zamasu, but it doesn't have full screen range. So, I mean, take for what you will. The projectile special moves have slightly increased chip damage, and Golden Frieza will increase your chip damage by a lot. Your 5S, 2S, and JS will have Z Broly priority. And Wake Up Only level 3 will deal obnoxious chip damage. And the idea is it's already kind of a sucky super. You might as well just force people to reflect it instead of just blocking it. Because... why the fuck would you not reflect it? Anyway, it just seems like something that would be cool. Yeah. So make Frieza broken. He already got pretty good buffs on point. I don't want to buff him on point too much. And this won't even really do anything because you could just reflect away the chip damage, like I just said. But, yeah, this A assist buff would go a long way. Krillin. 5L advance... Oh, wait, no. Let me talk about these guys first. Tien. A assist a little bit better. 2M4S a little bit better, and this will also affect the B assist. 2 through 6S, slightly higher chip damage. This is the system change. And B assist will give you a full meter if Chaozu's dead. So it just makes the B assist a little bit better when Chaozu's dead. I feel like these are changes nobody would complain about. So, Piccolo. 2 through 6S, chip damage increased and pushback on block increased. It makes it a little bit safer. And it also actually nerfs his fucking Oki a little bit. Actually, no, it doesn't. No, it does. Yeah, a little bit. So actually, let me get rid of that. I don't want to nerf his Oki. 214H now throw invuln, improve tracking, and combos into 2-6 HS even on the grounded hit because I added a ground bounce on the grounded hit. So only 2 buffs, not really anything super significant. These are just like consistency changes, really. I mean, I don't think anybody would think this is too much. I didn't go crazy like Arxis and they make his fucking 214L track or anything like that. Like, I didn't do that. I just gave him 2 things he probably should have already had. Krillin. 5L advances slightly forward. This is to make his pressure a little bit better mid-screen because it's kind of like not that great mid-screen. Grounded 5S, now 11 frame startup. This is to give him like backdash 5S mix-up, but it's not actually necessary. You could just sort of like take that or leave that. 214S follow-up now has a ground bounce. This is to make it like you can combo off of it if it hits people, and it can now be used in the air, but the air version has no air invuln. So I want him to be able to zone with it and like anti-air people with Ki blasts, but I want it to be hard. I don't want him to just have a frame 4 air invuln in the air. So yeah, I think that would be fair. 2-6S slightly higher chip down. That's a system change, and like everything else about him is pretty fucking good. He has good combo routes. He has a good assist, like a really crazy assist. He has 2 good assists. Good DHCs, etc., etc., etc. I didn't want to buff him too much. Hit only has 2 buffs. JL hit stun increased on grounded opponents. So like if you do a cross up JL, more consistent confirm, and chip damage. So this is the projectile. It's only the projectile. The chip damage increased, and that's it. That's all I would do to hit. He's already a great character. Goku Blue B assist range increased, but startup increased a little bit. So like it's slower. It just makes it 2-6M instead of 2-6L. I feel like that would be a good change, honestly. And the chip damage increased on his instant transmission. I feel like nobody would complain about this. Except for like maybe the niche person who's like, bro, 20 frames better for Piccolo synergy. Yeah, but like, use A assist. It's better, bro. Vegeta Blue. 2-6S chip damage increased greatly. And by that I mean like it does Bardock 2-6S full charge level chip damage. B assist range slightly increased. This is to make it better with like dash block. It's not going to be full screen or anything. 2-6LM, his Niagara Pummel Super, is now frame 4 invuln, but the cancel window is reduced on block so that you can't call DHC supers to stay safe as easily. So it's kind of like a DP super in that it's not like literally a DP super, but you know how DPs you have that little window you could vanish and kind of make it safe against a lot of people? Actually, speaking of which, SSJ4, your DP should have less vanish cancel window. Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of like that. Android 16, 5H armor only activates when charged, but you can now charge 5H obviously. 5H now has Ki Blast invuln when it's active, when the hitbox is active, or when it's moving forward rather. 2H no longer has any armor at all, but the scaling is now a medium. I feel like that's overall a buff, bro. No, the fucking armor never comes into play. Let's be real. 2-6X grabs have reduced recovery on whiff. Ignore that nerf. 214S and 2-6S have slightly larger hitboxes, and the 2-6S buff is meant to buff the A assist hitbox. So yeah. I feel like these are good changes. He already got combo buffs. He already got pressure buffs. I don't really know what 16 players would want. I feel like 16 players would want the old auto combo back so that he could have crazy vanish pressure. But I feel like that would be really, really good. He already has good anti-reflect. So, I don't know. I feel like these are good changes, though. Like, he already does good damage. He has good offense. He's going to have a better A assist. He has good DHCs. Like, he's a pretty fucking good character, bro. Beerus, 5M range slightly increased, makes his anti-reflect a little more consistent. If Beerus 2S Sneeze makes contact with another orb, they both begin to slowly track the opponent. This is just funny. 214X series, hitbox active sooner. This makes it so that it's like more consistent at like beating stuff, and it's invuln to Ki Blast on frame 4. So this makes it better in neutral. I actually would change that. I would make it frame maybe 9. that it was invuln to Ki Blast, so that it's not like completely spammable the second you see a Ki Blast, or maybe even frame 10. It's got to be something slow so that you can't just do it. Anyway, JS landing recovery reduced. I would actually make it -5 on landing instead of -7, and I would make the regular recovery reduced as well by a couple of frames, because it just has a lot of recovery. It's kind of crazy. Trunks. Trunks is a pretty big one. Guys, Trunks needs a lot of buffs, but I feel like these are good buffs. So 5S and JS hit stun increase, 5S recovery decrease. These are designed to make the confirm with vanish a little more consistent, and this is to buff it in neutral. Landing recovery just completely removed from the L and M flips. I don't know why they have it at all. Trunks can now perform aerial Masenko from flips, angled down, so like he gets an angled down beam from a flip. I feel like that's just good for like closing the gap and getting in from neutral. 2 through 6M startup sped up to 27 frames. I wouldn't even be mad if it was 26, but I feel like 26 is a little too fast. 2 through 6M and 2 through 6H now ground bounce on grounded hit. The overhead's recovery reduced, better on block, now -3 for L and H versions. 214S hit stun increased on the non-smash hit. This is to make confirms easier and also make his Change the Future Oki better confirmed as well. 2M and 5M recovery reduced. 5M range slightly increased. They're better in neutral. 5H and 2H recovery reduced, better on block. JH now 11 frames. You know what I said about Lab Coat 21? This is the buff. This is the opposite. I gave him a fucking 11 frame JH. These do slightly higher chip damage. That's just system change. And A assist block stun increased to 20 frames. Only the assist, not the move on point. So, guys, these are a lot of changes. I feel like these are some pretty good changes. I would even go so far as to say level 2 does 100 more damage. There we go. That's Trunks buffs. And I don't want to buff his level 3 because I feel like making him burn meter is kind of like his character. Kind of like Yamcha. But bettering his combos, like you can do an aerial Masenko from flips. Maybe you could super dash after that. I know they loved that change in this patch. They want you to super dash after every beam. Something like that. Buffing his neutral. This buffs his pressure a little bit, right? JH 11 frames. I think that's going to be huge. That gives him a consistent cross up from point blank. Hello. That's really good. The confirms. I think these are pretty good buffs, bro. Now, Majin Buu, I barely want to buff at all. 5L and JL hitbox increase downward, better matchup against small characters. The cartwheel hitboxes, smash hits are normalized so that you get a more consistent launch. Sometimes you'll get a cross up 2 through 6H or 2 through 6M rather, and you won't get it confirmed just because it launches you into Fat Boo and then they tech. More consistent, blah, 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 blah. Priority adjusted, so you can't clash with air normals anymore. I did this for Cell's Perfect Attack too. B assist startup decreased, and now it's a defensive call. It buffs the B assist. A assist is still better, though. J 2 through 6M a little bit faster. It's not actually for mix-ups. I want him to use it to get out of the corner a little bit better. 2 through 6S, a little higher chip damage. That's a system change. And level 1, frame 7 invuln, again, just problem matchups. So, yeah, Teen Gohan, they did this buff in the patch. Can now natively combo off of MDP and HDP if facing the corner. I think they did this for HDP. The kicks will deal higher chip damage. 2 through 6H, J 2 through 6H has 2 less hits on block, slightly harder to guard cancel. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory changes. He's already a great character. He didn't really need massive buffs. System changes and just these slight little combo buffs and letting him play around guard cancel a little better. I feel like that goes a long way. So, yeah. 5M recovery decreased on Ginyu. This makes his staggers better. I don't want to give him a 4L. He already has a 0 on block 2L. Ginyu force attacks have increased chip damage. JH now 12 frame startup. I don't want him to have 11 frame startup, but I will give him 12 frame startup. So I think that 1 frame is going to matter. Don't get me wrong. Cell. Beam chip damage increased. Roll and crush damage slightly increased. Blah, 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 blah. This is the same priority thing. A assist startup decreased, so it's faster to 36 frames. B assist leaves standing on grounded hit. This is actually a buff to synergy. So like if this B assist leaves standing on grounded hit, it makes Majin Buu Cell viable, and that will all of a sudden shoot up to be one of Fat Boo's best synergies. and it would be crazy. And it's not just for Cell's sake, right? What Cell and Majin Buu would also be for Cell's sake. You get 2 hyper offense characters. Majin Buu plays neutral for him. You could special tag. He does the damage. He gets a level 3 Oki in the corner. Majin Buu gets it mid-screen. It would be a pretty crazy shell. And also, I think it is just a buff period, because when it leaves, if it on the ground it leaves standing, I mean, a lot of characters can just get better confirms like that. So, indirectly buffs the damage of certain characters. Android 17. 214X, which is the turnaround Rekka, is now frame 5 invuln. I would actually go so far, it's frame 6 invuln. So, actually make it frame 7. Yeah, frame 7 invuln is pretty good. It makes it useful after 6M against certain characters. 2-2S projectile and barrier increase chip damage. A assist startup increase, so the follow-up takes a while to come out, and the barrier takes longer to start up. But the barrier duration increase, so it's easier to actually armor through stuff before the projectile comes out. I wouldn't even have buffed him as much as they buffed him in this patch. Like, he's already a pretty solid support character, and I think he's really fine. He has a niche like that. He is down here. Android 17, right here. Like, they made it so that his Rekka was even better. And they made his crouching medium even better. So, I mean, I don't know why they did that, but it's cool. Base Goku. System changes. 2M travels slightly farther. 2-6L travels slightly farther. Level 1 now frame 7 invuln. This is basically system changes. I made his buttons and his lariat a little bigger to compete with the bigger buttons in the meta, and that's about it. Like, he's already a really solid character. Bardock. They actually did this. I didn't expect them to do this in the patch, but charging 2-6S longer will increase your plus frame slightly. They actually did this in the fucking patch. I was so surprised when I saw this. But Bardock, if you charge his Tyrant Lancer, it increases block stun when you're fully charged. They actually did this. I don't know why they did this, but I'm really grateful they did this. They made his Light Rebellion Spear faster. I don't know why they did that. They sped up this thing's startup. This is actually really good. They reduced the recovery of his Ki Blast, and they gave this invuln. I wouldn't have done this. I would have gave him actually less buffs, and I would have made it, you know, these chip damage buffs, but also this fucking level 1 DP now goes full screen, so they make it more consistent in combos, and it's better for full screen punishes. They didn't do that, but I think that would have been a cool change. I don't know why they made this move even faster. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? But anyway, Kefla, little higher chip damage. 2-6H 2 frames faster, and it deals higher chip damage. 2-6S deals a little more chip damage. 2-4S like 3 frames less recovery. Doesn't need to have that much less recovery. A assist reverted. B assist now 30 frame startup. I feel like these are pretty self-explanatory. It's like system changes. This thing that kind of sucks most of the time, and then A assist reverted because I already did that to 21, and B assist trying to be a little bit better. No one's gonna use B assist anyway, so I feel like this doesn't matter. Jiren. 2-6X series, slightly increased chip damage. It already does like somewhat decent chip damage by this game standard, so just a little bit higher. And 2-6H can be delayed up to 10 extra frames. This makes it a little bit better. Like, you could use it like a DR crush. Buffs his solo mix a little bit. They buffed the shit out of Jiren. I don't know why they did this to Jiren. They made Jiren crazy. They made his crouch medium faster. They made his stand medium faster. They gave him a 4L. They made his fucking charge, his like what's it called? His shoulder tackle. They made it no longer a frame trap. It's crazy and neutral. They made this thing. They made that faster. I don't even remember what the fuck this is. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Anyway, whatever. They made Jiren crazy, bro. I wouldn't even have done that. Zamasu, they also made pretty fucking crazy. Zamasu, they gave Zamasu a 4L. I don't know why the fuck they gave Zamasu a 4L. Anyway, I would give him more chip damage, and they buff his level 3 and revert his A assist blocks down to 22 frames. That's literally it. That's all I would do to Zamasu. But I gotta find Zamasu on here. They made Zamasu so fucking crazy. Look, they gave him a 4L. They made his fucking stand heavy better. They made his crouch heavy faster. Oh my god, dude, they made him so crazy. Why did they buff Zamasu? Anyway, GT Goku, 2 through 6H range increase about the size of Bardock 2 through 6L. It goes a little bit too short in my opinion. 2 through 6H, blah, blah, blah. Chip damage increase. A assist startup decrease, so make it a little bit faster. It's still not going to be crazy. I didn't buff the block stun. B assist range slightly increased. I don't want it to track or anything. Just go a little bit more forward. Level 1 while on Anchor is frame 4 invuln. This is important, I think, because a lot of people wanted to play GT support on Anchor. And level 1 deals more chip damage as GT's passive power-up increases. So you know how, like, if a character dies, he gets the Super Saiyan hair? Make the super do more chip damage if it does more damage. That's pretty simple. It's a system change. I think no one would complain about this. I don't want GT to be crazy good. If he has this, his anti-reflect would already be decent. It's a -3 on block EX. It beats out a lot of shit. It's pretty good. If his A assist was a little bit better, a lot of people would play him for like neutral and stuff. But yeah. Janemba. They actually did this. They made his 5L advance forward, and they actually made his 2L 6 frames. I personally wouldn't even have done that because he already has a frame 4 teleport, but that's cool. 2M recovery decreased by 2 frames, and J2H no longer has landing recovery. Only quality of life changes. But they actually went a step further with Janemba. They made Janemba... Where's Janemba? I don't even remember where the fuck Janemba is. But Janemba... Okay. They made his stand heavy faster. They made his jump heavy longer, and they made Hellgate better. They made light and medium Hellgate better in neutral, and they also made his auto combo faster. So, hey, more power to you, Janemba players. He's even better now. UI Goku. I want to make his air flips better by you could feint them, so like you bait reflects and stuff like that. But they have no follow-ups, so you can't be super crazy with them. Beams, higher chip damage, plus frame move, higher chip damage, and I don't know if this is a good change, so UI players are going to have to get back to me on this, but this is a question mark. This is kind of like a question mark asterisk change, but 214H no longer has landing recovery, but UI Goku has no air option, so he's effectively -7. He's forced to block, but you're completely safe instead of just not safe. So I feel like that's honestly pretty decent, but some UIs would probably prefer that you have the backdash after. So, yeah. This is a question mark asterisk change. This is not necessary. Videl. I would have buffed Videl, but this patch went a little bit fucking crazy in buffing Videl. So, her stand heavy has less recovery. This makes it better in neutral. Justice combination, reduced recovery. So, like, better in neutral. Moonsault is now special cancelable, and the heavy version has higher distance. That's pretty fucking crazy. Frankensteiner, I don't even remember what the fuck this is. I think this is the J2S. No. Adjusted the spawn locate. Frankensteiner. Heavy version? I don't... Oh, this is the command grab. This is the command grab. And this probably just makes the combo a little bit better or whatever. Added invincibility, jumping text at the beginning of the attack, increased... This is the level 1, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this shit where they made this cancelable in the special moves goes way too hard. I gave her cells 4M, higher chip damage, blah, blah, blah. Level 1, slightly higher damage when scaled. A and B assist, increased range. And the counter, when you're on Anchor, the counter super has a hard knockdown. And this thing is like a system change. But yeah, I wouldn't buff her that hard, bro. The moonsault, you do EX moonsault and the EX grab, that's kind of crazy, bro. Anyway, cooler. A lot of cooler players wanted this. They want you to be able to hit the EX dive kick and then vanish and get a combo after. And I agree. I would give him that. His 2 through 6S and his dive kicks deal a little higher chip damage. 2L 6 frames, grounded level 1 now, frame 5 invuln. And I didn't think they would do what I wanted them to do, but they did it. They certainly did it. They made his off the ground. They made his full screen low. They made it an off the ground move, and I thought that was pretty cool. Since now it gives him like extra combo utility. You can get like a JH knockdown off of your 2H and do 214S and then call assist and then extend like that. It gives him really great damage, really great combo routes. They also buffed his normals and they buffed his 5L, and I thought this was really cool, but I didn't think they would do it. Again, I didn't think they would do it but making this 5L move forward is really crazy. Standing medium, faster, that's really good. Standing heavy attack, even longer, that's really good. 5S, faster, that's pretty good. These are all great changes. So, I would just add that to all this. Very simple. Baby. Ki Blast now return to Baby even if Baby blocks. 5S and JS can be cancelled sooner, so you don't have to wait for all 4 Ki Blasts before you cancel it. 2M is 11 frames. 5M is now 15 frames, but -3. 2 through 6S increased chip damage. 2 through 6M at H improved tracking at mid-range. H version is frame 7 invuln. Better for matchups. Bro, I'm sick and tired of hearing people complain about how good these Ki Blasts still are. They're not that good. His neutral is not that crazy, and his pressure fucking sucks. So, let him have broken Ki Blasts. He doesn't even have good, like, 50-50s or anything. Bro, this would make his A assist actually useful, okay? This would make his A assist so good. Come on, let him have it. I'm not even bringing back the B assist. Just let him have this, please. Roshi. A assist sped up by 3 frames. JS landing recovery reduced by 9 frames. Seriously, why the fuck does this have 12 frames of landing recovery? I don't know why. 2S is 26 frames. 2 through 6S increased chip damage. The DP's invuln adjusted, so it's a little bit better. 2 through 6S X series, which is the little lariat like cross-up thing he does, will have some projectile invuln frames like SSJ4 Gogeta. His 6H just slightly faster, JH 11 frame startup, and let him use the air dash macro. I think all of these would definitely fix Roshi. They don't want him to have a float for some reason, so I didn't give him a float, but just let him use the fucking air dash macro, bro. I have consistently gotten non-air dashes with this character, and I'm pretty consistent with my inputs, so I don't know. Now, S. Broly is the last big buffs on a character. He's the second to last character. I don't have anyone else after this. S. Broly. 5L now 9 frames. This is designed to improve his mid-range a little more and make the combo after 214L that you can now do a little bit easier. 5H armor no longer loses to low hit. 5H now has some Ki Blast invuln, so like this is like Android 16s that I did. 6H now has 1 hit of armor. 2 through 6S, the dive kicks, now have multiple hits of armor. I said 10. I don't know what a good number would be. I don't know how many Broly has on his command grabs, but those are beatable. I want it to be like that. And we'll have armor on frame 5. 2 through 6X series chip damage increased on the projectile hit, and the projectile hit will jail into vanish from full screen. The frame 5 armor, I went over that. It's for a reason. J2H, JM, JH all have 1 hit of armor. 5M now 13 frame startup. 2L slightly decreased recovery, and 2 through 6S deals increased chip damage. Guys, I know these are crazy buffs, but I feel like nobody would complain. He still has no 50-50s. His grab, or at least the good grabs, still have no armor. This is basically quality of life changes, alright? Anything that he could do with these changes, he could already do just really hard. So, just saying. Nappa. 2 through 6S chip damage increased. J8 now 12 frame startup. That's it. That's all I buff about Nappa. His offense is crazy. His damage is crazy. I don't want his neutral to be too crazy. I don't want his pressure to be too crazy with that chip damage. So this, I feel like, is the absolute minimum I could give Nappa without giving Nappa absolutely nothing. He's a pretty fucking solid character. Yeah. These are my personal list. This is all opinion. But this is how I would have changed Dragon Ball. I'm open to suggestions, obviously. Like I said, the UI Goku change, for example, is a question mark asterisk. I definitely didn't like that they buffed certain characters way too much. The Jiren buffs are a little bit much. The Android 17 buffs, I'm not to say that they're like gonna make him completely broken or anything, because it only affects sort of like his grounded Rekka strings, which are already reactable. But, you know, they buffed a character that didn't really need it. They nerfed him like barely at all, and they buffed this a little bit. Like these are pretty standard shit. They made the J2M like some of these changes are just like non-changes basically. What the fuck? Reduced what? What? Okay, that's what I did. Okay. Increased distance. Okay, that's fine. Increase knockback on block. Okay. I don't know what Gigantic Strike is. I think that's okay. Well, anyway, they whatever. They made a lot of changes that I thought were sort of like insignificant. Like, I mean, the beam super dash shit. I don't know why they're so adamant on making that a thing. They just made it so that you could do beam super dash of every beam. I'm not a fan. I don't know why the fuck. Like, why? Like, you just want to give characters like 200 extra damage. Okay, whatever. It's just stupid. They made Ginyu pretty good buffs. I wouldn't even have buffed him that much. But that's cool. They gave Trunks decent buffs. But, I mean, overall, I think my buffs are better. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to end this video, really. So, peace out.